Hey guys, so today I'm going to be telling my story. And today I want to give God his flowers for the things he has done in my life and just being my father and just continuing to hold my hand through the way. And let me tell you something. What did he say? Taking me out of that bondage, getting me out of Egypt, getting me out of that captivity that I was held in for so long. I was captive. And he was my hero, my father, and he saved me. And helped me heal a great amount of pain. Trials and tribulations, trauma, pain, sorrow, despair, depression. And he showed me his way. I told him I'm ready. I told him I'm ready, and he heard my cry, and he seen me in my car. Talking and just telling, just saying out loud that I know that there's so much more. Like it's better for me. Y'all know that thing that he installs in you, and you just get to feeling it, and you're like, I gotta go. Like I feel in my body, in my soul, that it's somewhere else that I need to be. It's so much more out there for me. There's something for me out there. Don't know what it is yet, but I know I shouldn't be here no more. I know this ain't, wherever I'm at right now, it ain't serving me. I know that. I know where I'm at now. Mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, job, life in general, whatever you want to call it. I had clarity. I had gotten clarity. I had this feeling in my heart that there was so much more to this. And I started to remember all my dreams and my passions and my desires of how I want to do this for this, and I want to do that for this, and I want to do this for this. And I've been tired of seeing this, and I just want to do better, and I know there's better for me. I know that there's better days. And I cried, and I expressed. There was a night that I had just sat in the car and I said, enough is enough. And from that day on, I began to choose myself. And the next thing you know, God has always been there, but he truly appeared. I know God more than I've ever known God before. I know his touch now. I know who God really is now. I know who he is. And he is true. And if you don't believe in him now, I advise you try. Because his way, and when I say his way, is the best way. He has put his hand on my life, and I have surrendered and put my life in his hands, and he has done miracles. Now, guys, I just want to give God his flowers. I had wrote something that I had got on my heart, and I just want to read it, and then I'm going to get into a part of my story that is a major puzzle piece to my story, a major puzzle piece to my testimony when it comes to God and what he does. The Father himself, his miracles. And my story is basically going to be, this part of my story is basically going to explain everything that I'm seeing right here in what I wrote down. I said, this was what was on my heart, that God put on my heart to say. I want to give God, the Most High, his flowers. He has shown me this year that we don't have to do it all alone, and we were never doing it all alone in the first place. I mean, from the time we were being hand-created, handmade by him, till this present moment. He was always there and never left. He has always been watching and always is. Never doubt that or him. With all that you have been through, how do you think that you made it? With all the times you listened to your heart and was steered away from certain places, people, and things, who do you think was helping guide you in the right direction? It was God all along. God is always there, and he's always calling, because he doesn't give up on his children, but we need to listen. Be still. We need to listen, but we don't know how to do that anymore, because we have come into this world with the pure hearts that God has installed in us, and then boom, here comes the devil and all the evil spirits he has sent down to distract and destroy us. Distract us from our knowing so that we get to thinking. Distracting, misleading, and misguiding us from our true Father, from our true purpose, from our freedom, from the way life is truly supposed to be. To distract us, mislead us, and misguide us from the real world, the way, to distract us from our nature, our true nature, to mislead us and throw us off our path, throw us off his way. To keep us on boats that God has been trying to get us off of. He does not want us to get where God wants us to be. He does not want us to see the nature of our nature. He does not want to see us be fruitful. He does not want to see us bear the fruit that God has given us, that is sitting right in our faces. But because of him, it has been disguised. I am holy again. Oh, that's what I want to say. He does not want us to see the life that God has given us. Because in fact, we have been totally misguided, totally thrown off. We are living a facade. We are living a very much programmed life. You know why we're so stressed? because we have been programmed to think that we're doing it all alone. We have been programmed to think that life is all about this, but this is real life. God's way, that's real life. God, there was this scripture, and it says something about how God wanted us to live this life with him in peace and something else. I can't recall the specific word, all the words of the scripture, but yeah. So I continue. I am holy again. In the name of Jesus Christ. Whew. I am holy again. I feel like myself again. I prayed for this for so long, and I felt a disconnection, and I knew I was in what I would explain to the people that I was very close to at the time, that I was sitting in this despair, this depression. I would explain to them, I said specifically to one of my really close loved ones, my cousin, that when I was having out-of-body experiences, and also that I felt like I was in this very deep dark hole, which was the pit that I had fell in, and that because I wasn't aware of certain things, I kept allowing the devil and his evil spirits to dig even deeper, and I just kept falling even deeper. But God got me out of that. God got me out of that bondage. God helped me break those chains off of me. God helped me out of Egypt. God helped me out of that. God saved me. Helped save me out of that captivity. I was in captivity. I was captive. God, I reached out my hand and I said that I need you. I know you, and I want to know you even more. And one thing about me, before I knew God the way I know God now, I always was connected. I always was spiritual. I grew up in church. And so for some reason, I did grow up around Christians. My dad's side is Christian. Many of them are Christians. My immediate family, my dad's sisters, they're Christian. And I definitely grew up in church, and then, I went to church with my mom as well here and there. And then I had another family, which is my siblings' father's family, who I used to go to church with. And so I was always around the Word of God growing up. And even if I wasn't at church, I still had some connection with God. And I always knew that I was supported. I always knew that I was protected because of many things that happened in my life. So I always knew I was protected. But the clarity that I have now on God, I don't believe I had that before. But I felt, I guess in my heart, I always believed that there was something there. I always believed in the universe. I always believed in spirituality. And I always knew that I was connected. I always knew that there was something above the things. I always knew that there was something above the physical world that we live in. And so I've grown up, even when I didn't go to church, because, things happen in life. So I wasn't around the people that I used to go to church with at this time in my life. And for some reason, I kept getting into, I want to call them eras or moments in my life where I would create a routine where I'd pray every time I do this, I'd pray every time I do that. And I'd always go to God. And what I'm trying to say is that the knowing and clarity that I have of God, and like I said, I know God more than I have known God before. But I always still went to God even though I didn't have the clarity on him the way I do now. Because, I feel him. I know him. But I always prayed. I was always a prayer girl. I was a walker. And sometimes I would fall off of it, but I always got right back on it. Sometimes I fall off again. But I had these times in my life where I would come into a routine of every time I walk out the door, I'd pray for my family. And I prayed for God's protection. Over me and my loved ones. And many other things. And then I've always been a person who prayed over my food. Like I said, here and there, fall off of it, get right back on it. Because I am a child of God. And so, even if I fell off of it, it would always come right back to me. And now this time, it's sticking with me. And I love it, and it's going to forever and continue to stick with me because I am a child of God. I know God. God has shown himself to me very strongly this year. Very strongly. And that is because I asked for him this time. And not only that, I know that he's saying that it's your time now. I need you. And you have declared that you need me. And you have done the work. And you're doing the work. And you're choosing to do the work. Not only are you willing, I became willing. Didn't know where I was going. But I started to trust in something that I didn't even know that was there. And then gradually, God started to pop up in ways. And I just kept following the unknown, unknowingly. And then I started to tap in. And the more I tapped in, the more he showed himself to me. In the things that he can do, that he is bigger than the universe. So as I said, I am holy again. My inner child is healed, baby. I feel like myself again even more. Like God has shown me things that I didn't even know about myself. He has opened up places in my heart that I know myself to be, and even things that I didn't know about myself. He has shown me the way. I can see the way I used to see things again. I feel the way I used to feel again. I feel and I move and it's like I just snap right back into who I was when I came on this earth, who I was, which was a gift of love from God. I am that person again, but even better. That childlike spirit of mine. But not only, I don't like to call it childlike, I am a child. In his child, he is now assisting and helping grow into a grown woman. I am his princess, and he is assisting and guiding me with becoming the queen that I know that I am, that I deserve to be. And he's helping assist me to my throne. And I'm sitting on it. I am there. So, he had restored my heart again. Was it easy? No. Was it hard? Complicated, I would say. Yes, it was hard. Yes, it was complicated. But I don't want to really put hard on it, because one thing about God and his love, if you got God's love with you, it comes easy. The pain, it will hurt. But with God's love, you will get through it. If you just listen, hear him out, you'll get through it. If you just ask for his strength, he'll give you exactly that. He wants you to get there. He wants you to make your mark. So he's going to give you all the tools in order for you to make it to that exact pinpoint. He wants you healed. He wants you back home. And he'll hold your hand through that whole storm. And baby girl, baby boy, that storm is over. It's over now. The storm, it's over now. The storm, it's over now. He has declared that the storm is over now. He restored my purity, restored my faith in Jesus Christ and himself, God. Thy Lord, our God. He gave me back the life I thought I might never get back again. And he gave me it back even stronger. He restored the light that I used to walk around as a child when I was a little girl, with my head held up high. Another thing that I was struggling to get back. He brought me home after all these trials and tribulations. The devil and his spirits, his evil spirits, had attached themselves to me. I was in depression, despair, all negative things. So, here's my story, y'all. So, okay, growing up, I was pretty much in and out of houses. I never had a house of my own to just me, my mom, and the siblings that were present at the time, which was my mom, me, and my sister. At the time that we were going through, you know, most of this, like the switching out of houses and stuff. And then, so we never really had we had stable homes, but we never had a house of our own. And so 5th grade came around, and my mom had come across 2 houses. And there was a white house and there was a brown house. And I remember her showing me these houses to me and my sister. And I remember picking the brown house because she had asked us, which house do we think, which house do we like better? Which house do we think we should move to? And I had chose the brown house. We ended up moving to the white house, which was in a predominantly white town, and the brown house was in the hood. It was a town of the hood. And because y'all know there's multiple hoods. And the brown house happened to be in one of the hoods, you know, where in one of the ghettos, you know. So my mom had chose the house and, you know, the predominantly white town. And she had her reasons for that, and I'm pretty sure y'all could already gather and, you know, could tell like what the reasons possibly could be. I could really probably think of what the reasons are. And she grew up her whole life in the hood. So you can imagine, if you're from the hood, you know the factors of the hood, you know what comes with the hood. And she just wanted better for us. She didn't want us to have to go through those things. And I totally get it. And by the grace of God, I'm totally appreciative for her having that mindset for her kids. For her being that strong and good for her kids to want to put them in a better place and not continue to have them in something she's already saw the beginnings and ends of. So, okay, 1 second, because this. So, her reasons were, for better education. No drama, of course. And, the house was really nice. It was a really nice house. It was a beautiful house. At least that's the way it looked from the exterior. From the outside, that's what it looked like. It looked like such a beautiful house. It's nice, it's huge, it's big, it has just enough rooms for all of us, just a great amount of space for all of us, you know what I'm saying? Good education, great education, in fact. And I'm pretty sure there's other factors, but those were the main factors of why she chose that house. And so I recall on the first night that we had slept over there, I had woke up the next morning, next rising, excuse my words, because we are not, nobody dying. I ain't nobody doing nothing. I like to say rising, good day. So the next day, I woke up and I had got up and I was on my way to the bathroom. And I had began to feel something come over me. And I started to quiver in a way, shake, somewhat of like anxiety, but I began to feel this haziness in it, like a dizziness, something like a dizziness come over me. And it was like my energy had shifted. And I remember me not making it to the bathroom. I had used the bathroom on myself. I took like 2 steps after I opened the door. I took like 2 steps. And because of the energy that I had felt come over me, it caused me to use the bathroom on myself. And so I didn't think anything of it. I had thought, maybe it's just my body because we're in a new environment, everything's new to us, so maybe it's just my body, adapting to it. So, like I said, I didn't think anything of it. I didn't tell my mom or anyone. I just, I don't really remember what happened after, but, of course I cleaned myself up, so I'm pretty sure, I cleaned myself up. I'm not even pretty sure I know I cleaned myself up. Pretty sure, I probably got in the shower or something, but I do recall using the bathroom myself. And, okay, so I didn't tell nobody whatever. That's one moment that happened. And we lived there for a couple years. We lived there for about, 7 years, I believe. And I just basically want to say all the signs that God had put in our path that there was something wrong. and that we needed to get the heavens on up out of there. Multiple, thousands of signs. There was thousands of signs that we needed to get out of there. So I want to get into the signs. And I'm actually going to I had wrote them down, but I think I'm just going to just say it off my brain because I don't even want to be just looking at the paper. So there was multiple signs. And I'm just going to get into all the signs that God had put, like I said, put in our path that we needed to get on up out of there. Okay, so I pretty much know the signs, so I'm not even going. I'm going to just say these things. One sign. That was one sign right there. That was one sign. Second sign. I'm not even going to number them. We're not going to number them. Okay, so that was one sign. Another sign was my little brother when he was a baby. Okay, so we had a living room. I'm going to give y'all the imagery and the details. There's the big floor of the living room. We have this long, wide window. And we have the couch. It's against the wall. The window's above it. And then we have the TV stand over here. And then we have a stairs going down this way onto the next floor. It was like, we had like 4 floors. It was a 4, no. Matter of fact, it was a 5 floor. It was a 5-story house. Because we had an attic, and we had this, and we had all that. So, my brother had came to my mom, and he was expressing to her how there was 2 people sitting on the couch. There's no one there. But we all know. There's exactly what he said. 2 people sitting on the couch. We just can't see them. So that was one of the signs. So we had spirits. We were living with spirits, and if you ask me, they were evil, and they did not want us in their house. And it was very much given. The house was all painted up and patched up, but it was the devil's house. The devil had his hands on that house. Put it like that. And it's crazy because we watch all these documentaries and stuff like that, and it's just like, I've seen a lot of stories about like spirits and stuff, like true stories, and then even in the movies, you know what I'm saying? Like, these things happen. And it's like, you would think that these things are fake, but a lot of times, even in the fiction movies with the evil spirits, the signs that show that there's evil in those movies is the same. These things happen in real life. And these actually be true, real signs that there's evil in your house. Okay, so my brother has said that there's spirits on the 2, as well as we had multiple infestations. We began to have multiple infestations. We had this era of like in the house of like flies. Like, we had an infestation of flies. Like, it was so bad. It was so bad. It was bad in my room. It was in my room bad. And then we had a laundry room downstairs in the basement. And it was bad. Like, flies kept collecting, and they were also, I think we were spraying something down there, but I think they was also dying on their own as well. And it was just a line of flies just shitting. I don't even think we were spraying anything down there. I don't remember if my mom was spraying stuff down there, if she was spraying the fly spray down there, but I don't even recall that. Like, I don't even think she was spraying anything down there. And it was just so many flies in just that one Pacific area where the window is at. And then there's a line of them, just like a crowd of them, dead on the windowsill. And just a whole bunch of them over there, and there's just a whole bunch of them was dead. And in my room, there'd be a whole bunch of them. And they're all by the window. It's not even that. And mind you, we see these things in movies. And they weren't nowhere else. They would specifically sit by the window. They would specifically buzz all around by the window. Not anywhere else. They would be right at the window. I don't know how they got there, how they got in the room. But they would go right to the window. They would go right to the window. And then there's a whole bunch of lying dead flies. And I would spray them down and kill them. But there was just a whole bunch of lying dead flies. It was crazy. And then after a while it went away, and then it ended up coming back. And I think this was maybe the 4th or 5th year we were staying there. I feel like the 5th year we were staying there, that's when it started to all happen. So it ended up, it happened, and then it ended up going away. I don't know if this pertains to it, but if this has anything to do with it, because I don't want to say that they have anything necessarily to do with evil, but in that house there was also a lot of earwigs, and we had a great amount of grasshoppers, but very much earwigs. It was earwigs all down. It was a big house, so it had like a section, and it had an added section to it, and that's where the earwigs mostly were. But the upstairs and on the other floors, like the higher floors, there was no earwigs. But on the bottom floor, that's where they were at. And flies, if you look it up, flies symbolize evil, temptation, sin, and pesky demonic influence. I knew it had to be something. I knew it had to do with something spiritual, because I ended up picking up on it, and I'm like, I think because around this time I was getting more tapped into the spiritual world, you know what I'm saying? Because I am spiritual. I think we all are. But I was tapping into it more at this time, and on social media and stuff like that. So I kind of, and like I said, I've always been very spiritual. So I kind of it just kind of came to me to look it up. And so I remember looking it up when we were living in the house. And I looked at the different meanings of it. I had took it as a sign of something. Okay, in this town, I had went through, life was actually really pretty good. And then next thing you know, it just started to, in school, there was just a lot of drama, and just the town was no longer fitting. You know what I'm saying? It was no longer a place. It was becoming a place of despair for me. And this is around 7th grade going into 8th grade and the rest of my high school years until I graduated. And I just began to become disconnected, and even more disconnected, just gradually and gradually. Like, I'm already far away from my family, so I live miles away from my family. Not too crazy, but not as close as I used to. So it's just let's just say this: it's a drive to get to me. And then, my family, I'm more out east, they're more out west. They're way out west. Some of them are a little closer and more on the east side, but they're still out west, based on the town that I'm in. And so, I still made my way to my family, but then I just started getting into this space, and there's a lot to these things in this story, so I don't want to even get too much into that story. But I just basically got, it was just very much disconnection. Like, it just gradually just got even worse and worse. And I was falling out with people, like friendships were ending, and then next thing you know, it was just me. Next thing you know, it was just me. It was just me and me. Now that I know, better, I know that God was always watching. But at this time, it was just me and me, and clearly the devil was there too, and he was very present, very much circling around, because these type of things wouldn't even have happened if it wasn't for the devil. So he was very much circling around, very much playing mind games, very doing tricks for kids, and yeah. So God had called me to this scripture, page 421 in King James Version of the Bible. I have this Bible, and he had called me to page 421 to read this page. And I read this specific scripture. And it's actually, hold on, let me see. I want to read it specifically off the Bible. I'm trying to find it. Let me find it. 420. Yep, right here. 1 Kings 8:37. This is where the scripture specifically at. That's the specific place of the scripture. 1 Kings 8:37. I had just wrote down the page. In the scripture it says, if there be in the land famine, if there be pestilence, blasting, mildew, locust, or if there be caterpillar, if their enemy besiege them in the land of their cities, whatsoever plague, whatsoever sickness there be, what prayer and supplication soever be made by any man or by all thy people, Israel, which shall know every man the plague of his own heart, and spread forth his hands towards this house. But this house had mold. Can y'all be quiet? 'Cause I'm doing something. This house had mold. And so me and my whole family had became sick. I was the first one to be affected. And my mom, ever since we moved out, well, when we were in the transitioning of getting out of there, and when she had come to awareness that this was what it was, because my mom was the one who figured it out, what it was, you know what I'm saying? We just pretty much, specifically me and my brother were the ones showing the symptoms. I think I was the first one who had the symptoms before anybody else showed up with symptoms or was even like speaking about it. You know, because they were kids, so they probably didn't even really, they probably so focused on things that they didn't probably even think of, like, the differences in their bodies. But put that aside, I was the one who was having the initial symptoms. Like, I was the one who was coming up with, like, symptoms first. And so I started having this thing where, like, every morning I would have to blow my nose. No, excuse my words. Forgive me. Every rising, every day, I would have to blow my nose. And I mean, it wouldn't stop. I would have to blow my nose like crazy every morning. And you know what? My mom actually just recently had come across this video that said something about how the nose is a sign of that death is coming. So it's been so long, and you know, I've kind of moved past this and I've healed this part, so this no longer happens. But so I kind of forgot, so I had to kind of bring excuse my words. I have to kind of bring back up my memory because it's been a while. It's been like 2 years since we moved out of there, and life's been great ever since. Life's been gradually getting better ever since. Thank God. Think about it. By the grace of God, it's been getting better gradually and gradually. Has it been easy? No, it has not. But it's been getting better and better. Life has been getting better and better. We've been healing, and we've been getting better, healthier, wealthier. Everything's just happening by the grace of God. We're in good graces. So it was like I had allergies, and I've never had allergies before. My nose was stuffy. It was like my nose, I couldn't breathe. Like, I could breathe, but I was still breathing. And it's like, honestly, I don't really even know if I was breathing or if it was just God putting air within me, because my nose was so clogged up, so stuffed. Every day I'm telling you, I'm getting up out my seat in class to blow my nose, like, every time you turn around. So it was every morning that I would be having to blow my nose, but it would go throughout the whole day. And I was dealing with this for like maybe like 2 years. It just appeared, and my body just started struggling, and I was having trouble breathing. Like, I wasn't really getting oxygen. I was not getting oxygen. So I was not properly breathing. So I was barely getting oxygen. And even still now, that's still a factor, but my nose has cleared up. And let's just say I'm doing better than I was doing before. So it's not as bad, but I'm even still now, but I already know that God's going to heal it. But even still now, I'm still getting rid of and still trying to like even now, like I'm still like not even there yet, like with properly being able to breathe like how I would breathe before this whole thing even happened, before this whole thing even occurred. Like I'm still getting partial oxygen. I'm still a sign that somebody's not getting as much oxygen and they have trouble breathing is their nostril, like their nose is always like this. And I realized that I don't really do it that much now, so my nose is still a little bit lower, but it's still a little open. So I'm still having that issue at the moment, but God will heal that for me. But I was like, so we just started to call it allergies. I'm like, okay, let's have this. I don't know. So my nose was just really bad, clogged, backed up. Could barely. I was not getting oxygen. Let's put it like that. I was not getting proper oxygen, and I was not getting enough oxygen, and I believe that I still am not. But we're working on it. Like I said, I was sneezing and having to blow my nose every time you turn around. Every time you turn around. Like, it got so bad that my first period teacher started, like, trying to give me advice. So, like, because she has allergies. Whole time, I didn't have allergies. I was just truly sick and had a lot of evil sitting in me. And mold, which is evil. Pure evil. And so, if you look at what mold does to people, mold, y'all know. I think most people know by now. Mold kills people. And it has killed multiple babies. And probably people in general that didn't even know that it was mold. That was the factor of why they even had all these problems. Like, there's probably people that have passed and they weren't even aware of it. But they was having all these symptoms that's coming up. But, yes, guys, it was mold. Bad mold. And I kept going to my mom about it, whatever. And like I was saying, my first period teacher, she started to advise me, like, oh, because she has allergies, so she was thinking maybe I have it. She started taking it as maybe I have allergies, because she's seeing me having to go up to the front of the room, the front of the class every morning, and I'm tissues, I'm garbage. As another sign was, I began to start spitting up mucus. Still to this day, I'm still doing that a little bit, but it has shortened. But I'm still spitting. I was spitting like crazy. I had to. Mucus is coming up every time you turn around. So it's the same thing with my nose. And so I went to my mom a few times about my nose. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what's going on. We went to my doctor about it too, but I don't recall like whatever happened. But I never got no allergy medications or nothing. I was just dealing with it. So I just had this nose problem, and I just had the nose problem. And it, like I said, it was going on for like a good 2 years, and it just popped out of nowhere. Another sign was there was something. It was a smell in my room, and it was a really like obnoxious smell. It was really like you just couldn't. It was a different kind of smell, but you could not overthrow it. It was a really bad smell that started to come up. And you couldn't see nothing, you know what I'm saying? But you could smell it. So I would use my smell and my senses to trace where it's coming from. And it was right by, I had this closet in my room. And it was right by the closet. And I started, like, I would use scent, and I would get mop water, and I would mop it. I would mop the area where I'm smelling it at, where it's strongest at. It was this really strong scent. And I told my mom about it. And it was still there. Even after I mopped it on the floor, like, multiple times, it was still there. And then I remembered it, like, I don't even know if it went away or if I just kind of, like, got used to it. But I wasn't smelling it as strong as I was smelling it before. And then I remember, like, it kind of, like, going away, kind of, in a way. Like I said, I don't really know if it went away or just if I just got immune to it or just used to it. But it ended up popping back up. And so, you know, these symptoms of mine and these things is occurring. And then 2 years. Oh, I meant to say that we had moved into this house when I was going into 5th grade. So we moved to this house when I was on my way to 5th grade. We moved in, like, literally right before 5th grade started, like, right before the next grade started, like, right before the school year started. So I was going into 5th grade when we moved here. And now, you can imagine. So I moved here in 5th grade. And now I'm in, just to give y'all, like, a timeline. Now I'm in 11th grade. I graduated early. So I graduated in 11th grade because I had doubled up on my classes. So I graduated in 11th grade. And then that summer that I had graduated, my brother had got really badly sick. It was time. God showed us multiple signs. And we couldn't quite hear him. We just couldn't quite hear him. Like, you know? So God said, okay. Y'all know what God does. He throws you that big bow. And he used my brother as the vessel to show that big bow. And my brother got really badly sick and in bad, severe condition. And his feet were swollen up, and it was bad. Like, he was just going through something with his body. His body was fighting something, and it caused him to have to go to the hospital. So my mom was in the hospital with my brother for almost a month. And then they had to keep going back to the hospital. And then we was in the hospital for a long time. And that's what hit my mom. And she was like, don't really recall exactly why she traced to this. But she just started to want to figure out, like, what is going on. Like, it got to be something in the house or something. I guess that's what hit her. Like, it got to be something in the house. Like, what is this? Whatever. Maybe she had looked up what could possibly cause this, but, you know, they of course tried to put labels to his condition or whatever when it really only down to it. So she ended up finding out that it was mold, and she had it was videos coming across her. She had ended up getting a tester for mold, so she had someone come into the house to test for mold or whatever and do tests or whatever. There was mold, and it was high levels of mold in our house. And so this whole time we've been living with mold, and it's been slow. Mold is a slow killer. No, not slow killer. Mold is a silent killer. Mold is a silent killer. So we're just sitting here slowly, our bodies are slowly dying and being eaten off. And we're just sitting here breathing up this mold all day, all night, sleeping in it. You know, we're just our immune systems are just gradually just shutting down, and we're just still living like la 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 la, and like La La Land. I wouldn't say I was living in La La Land, but because I was literally dealing with the symptoms every day, so it's just like I was struggling. Like I literally couldn't barely breathe. So I wouldn't say I was living in La La Land, and I said it was more so everybody else in the house living La La Land, because I dang on heavens was not living in no La La Land. I could barely breathe. I gotta get up every second, every time I turn around to go blow my nose. I was struggling. What else did I want to say? Right. So I was in the hospital. They was in there for weeks. My mom ended up finding out that stuff, that it was mold or whatever. And we just had this whole thing. We even went, I think it was in New Jersey. We went to a place in New Jersey to get tested for the mold. My mom was just doing a whole bunch of things when she found out. And, we ended up finding out that, I don't know when we did, but the smell that was in my room, we had this thing where squirrels and raccoons kept coming, like they were fighting under my room. They would literally be scrambling, and like they was get busy. That was another problem we had. I don't know if that was necessarily a sign, but that was another problem we had, because there was a hole that I guess they had created, and they kept coming. They was underneath my room. And so, they would be literally scrambling, like, making sound, like they was making some, like, those type of sounds. And it would be at nighttime, like, mind you, I'm trying to sleep. But these raccoons over here, can you imagine? So we ended up finding out that there was actually a dead raccoon under me, under my room, and in my floor. Dead raccoon. So that was the smell that I kept smelling. It was a dead raccoon. So now I'm breathing in feces. No, okay, wait, hold on. Let me backtrack. I'm breathing in, I said feces, because I was breathing in feces, but I didn't even get to that part. The dead animal was not the feces. That's waste. I'm breathing in the dead animal, right? Blood, dead animal. Animal's dead, under my floor. I'm breathing that in. That was the smell. Then, because there was guys that had went, I don't remember what they did. I think this was at the time that we was moving out the house after we had found out the mold thing, and my mom had them come in and like check the place or something. Like, I don't remember everything that happened. Not that I don't remember everything that happened. I remember everything that happened, but I don't remember how it happened, like how it took place or whatever, or what my mom, like, I don't remember the order of events. But basically, some guys, I guess the landlord or whatever, had, once all this stuff started happening, my brother was in the hospital and stuff, and my mom had made it weird to the landlord or whatever. I think they had guys come in or whatever, and I guess they had opened the floor or something like that, and that's when they found the dead animal. And then they also found in my closet, because there's like, it's attached to like the attic. It's crazy. I don't even know the specific details, but it's attached to like the attic or something. But it's attached to where the animals were also getting in at. And so in there, it was a whole bunch of, in my closet, when you go in my closet and you look straight forward, there's a square thing, and it's a part of I guess the attic or something. It's part of the floor, something. I don't recall. I didn't even look in there. They went in there. And I think they went in there on another side. No, I actually think that they actually went in my room, went in the closet. I think this is when we already had moved out our stuff, because our stuff had got evacuated. Like, they had, when this whole thing was happening, and I guess when my landlord was made aware of it, there was this whole thing, and there was this company that came to our house, and they had took all of our stuff out of the house because of the situation that was going on in the house. So, like I said, I don't remember the order of events, how everything happened, or whatever, what kind of company they was, but basically because of what my mom was made aware of, whatever, the landlord, the town is involved, and everything, because this house is making us sick. So I think the landlord had the company come, and because of this mold thing, like whatever, and the feces or whatever, we had to have the company, I guess the landlord had it, I don't know, you know what I'm saying, but basically the company had took and bagged up all our clothes, and we was staying at other people's houses, my family houses, whatever, and we were staying in hotels while all these things was taking place. So they had bagged up everything out of the house and put it, and there was a big dumpster in our driveway, and they had pretty much, because of what they saw in the house, they had to like pretty much break down some things or whatever, and they had to take everything out the house. So all our stuff was bagged up, and then they had the big dumpster of stuff that they was taking out the house, that they had broke down or whatever. I don't recall what they was doing in the house, but they was doing just taking things out because of what was in the house. And such a long story, y'all. And where am I at in this? Okay, I took them out. Yeah, okay, so what they had found in the box, and it's crazy because I always wondered, like, what is in here? And I thought, like, maybe it was attached to the attic. I think it was attached to the attic. It's like a part attached to the attic or something. And they found feces. So the animals, the raccoons, the squirrels, whatever, I'm pretty sure, I'm assuming it was the raccoons that was really doing it, but it was raccoon feces. So they was doodling and stuff. That's their waste. It was their waste sitting in my closet. So I'm assuming that was the smell as well that I was smelling. But they also said it was a dead raccoon too. So mind you, I'm breathing in mold, and I'm breathing in a dead animal and feces. Oh, so yeah, I had it bad. Thank God we got the house. My eyes burning out. And so we, because what my mom knew was like, we still at the house, so we could technically still live in there, but we wasn't finna do that. So we was in and out of hotels, mainly we was in hotels. Mainly we was doing a hotel thing. And then I also had family to, we were staying at family's houses. Not too many. We were staying at my aunt's house. We stayed in hotels. We stayed at my aunt's house. And then we also stayed, and then I had my own support and family that I could stay with. So I ended up, everything, I was doing my little thing with, and being with my mom and my siblings. And then I ended up, it was just a lot. But I had a place to stay. And so I ended up staying with family. So I had two I'm trying to get the word. I don't want to say consistent because it's not. I don't think that's the word I'm looking for. But I had 2 houses that I could stay at, so I was pretty much going back and forth between those houses. But I was really staying at one house, and I thank God that I was able to stay at that house. But you know, so I was back and forth between one of my other aunt's houses, and then I was staying at my one of my family's houses, and I stayed there. They allowed me to stay with them, so I was more so over there than at my aunt's house. And then my mom and my siblings were pretty much still doing the hotel thing. I think the hotel the hotel thing was just very overwhelming for me, and it was just a lot. And so I just figured something out, took it to my own hands, and I ended up finding me a place to stay where I could. And I remember there was a night, like I said, it was a very overwhelming situation for me, and I didn't really have. It was just not peaceful at all, and then me and my mom weren't, you know what I'm saying? Like we didn't have the best, you know. It was just a lot of devils running around, and my mom was just, to be honest, my mom was just very annoying. So if I had to be honest with you, so she just was very annoying, and it just didn't make the situation any better. And so I just really need to get away from her, because I'm a very like, at the time she was not in the greatest space, so it just made it worse. Like my mom was already annoying, so the devils and the demon, and just the more she was overwhelmed as well, mind you. And she has my siblings, and you know, she's a single mom, so it's, you know, she's doing this all alone, pretty much. You know, she's doing this all alone. She has to take them to school. It's so much. You know, money is being just taken out the pockets, but it's just sacrifice. Like it was just a lot of sacrificing. We had to throw everything away. Like it was just a lot of sacrificing. She trying to figure out. My brother, he's in the hospital. It is a lot. So I totally get it. And then it's like, even before the situation even happened, my mom, like I said, my mom was already annoying. But now it was like, I didn't have a room. Like we were sharing a hotel, one bed. So, and then, you know, the couches had to pull out beds or whatever. It's like, I can't even go into my own space, go into my own room, and not be around her. Like it's like we all stuck together. We all got to, you know, we all gotta like fate. Like it's like we literally like having to face each other and figure things out. And I guess if you put it in that way, I kind of ran away from it, because I'm like, I can't do this, because I'm very like angelic. I'm very peaceful. I already had a lot of things going on. Mind you, at this time I already was going through the despair. Like I was like this at this time I was in that dark depot at this time. So just like, this didn't make it any better. And so I remember getting up. It was just a lot going on. I was very overwhelmed, and I remember I had ended up getting on my knees, and I was on the bed, and I had prayed this huge I was crying. I was so sad. I was upset. I was so so burdened. I was so upset. Like, it was horrible. Like, I was so upset, sad. I just hated it. I did not like anything. It did not feel safe. I felt exposed, and everything was just like, it felt like ashes. Like, it felt like ashes. Like, everything just felt so bad. Like, and like I said, me and my mom were just kind of like I said, my mom's kind of annoying. You know, she got devil circling around her, so it just wasn't working, and it was just a lot on me, and I already had like on myself mentally. I was ready to despair, my own despair, and just in this dark deep hole, and it's just like she's projecting her dark deep hole on me, and it's just like we're dealing with all these things. We're in and out of the hotels, we're rolling around. It's cold. It's winter time. When we're dealing with this, it's winter time when we're going in and out of these hotels, y'all. It's winter time, snowing, cold, freezing when we're in and out of these hotels. So it was just a lot. And I was going through pain. And I did not like the hotel situation. It was very uncomfortable for me. Very uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. It was just, I felt suffocated. I felt suffocated. If I had any word to explain the way I felt and the reason why I got up on my knees and I prayed this prayer, it was because I felt suffocated. I felt suffocated, and this is why I had ran away. Not literally ran away, but I had ran away into a place where I could feel like this is not happening to me. And this is why I had ended up staying at my cousin's house. Matter of fact, both of my cousin's house, because my cousin's house, and but this is winter. This is in a dead middle of winter. Like, could this be any worse? It could be. It could be. Because people were worse. But this was my worst situation. Like, I ain't never had to, you know what I'm saying? What else? Also, another sign was, I started having, I think it was his 5th year we was there. Like, 5th, 6th year. I don't remember. I think we was there for like 7 years. That's what he kept saying. Like, we were there 7 years, whatever. And from 9th grade till 11th, I began to have like, I started getting this crazy anxiety. Like, I started like growing this crazy anxiety in me. Like, I started having like really bad anxiety, and I would begin to like, there would be nights where I would like wake up out of my sleep and I'd be having anxiety attacks. Like, even when I wasn't asleep, there'd be like moments during the day where I would just start having anxiety attacks. Like, it was like I was like so traumatized, and that's how much despair I was going through. Like, that's how bad I was down bad in that deep dark hole, and that's how much darkness had consumed me. And I started having really bad anxiety attacks. And like I said, there would be nights where I'd wake up out of my sleep, crazy anxiety attacks. I would wake up out of my sleep with anxiety attacks. And I would be breathing heavily. Like, and then I remember one time, I was with someone, and it's coming up to me, but I can't remember the exact details in the memory of where it took place, but I think I was like sleeping, or like I was laying down, and the person like looked at me, and it was, I think they felt me, and it was like, are you okay? I think I was like sleeping, and it's like, are you okay? Like you breathing really hard, like something like that. Like I was like I was having a panic attack. I was having panic attacks. Like I was having panic attacks, anxiety attacks, really bad, really bad. And so it's a long story. Like I'm trying to see, does God want me to say all of these things? So God ended. Okay, so I guess God wants me to tell all of these things because this is not gonna be just no hour video. We're already 29 minutes after an hour. Like we're already 29 minutes in after an hour. So I guess he wants me to. I don't know, because in order for me to get everything out, I'm gonna have to say all these things. In order for me to have to tell the whole testimony, I'm gonna have to tell all these things. And I guess he wants me to, so I'm gonna just do it. So I guess I'm gonna have to skip a few words. I guess I'm just gonna go straight to how I'm doing now. So I ended up, long story short, a lot of things happened. We ended up getting an apartment. Oh, I said I did a really, really long prayer. Like that's how bad it was, and I just got on my knees and I got to praying, and I said this really, 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 really long, meaningful prayer to God, and I said amen, and I left it at that. I threw my kisses up to the sky, and I left it at that. And if you ask me, God has answered every single word of that prayer, and I'm living that prayer right now. I'm living that prayer. All I was asking God is that we get through this. Like, I want to see better days. I know it's better days. And I'm just praying for everything to get better. I don't remember what I said in that prayer, but I remember that prayer. I remember that prayer, but I remember that moment. And I remember me getting on my knees and I prayed a long prayer for us and my family. And like that's just how bad it was. I had to get on my knees and pray. That was the last resort. Like I just had to. That's how bad it was. I was so sad, crying. I got on my knees crying to God, praying. And he answered that prayer. He did. So the next year, this was pretty much all happening. It was at the end of the year. So it started from the summer, and we dragging it all the way. We doing the hotel thing. We dragging it all the way until like April. And April is when we moved into the place that I'm in now. So I'm now in an apartment. And by the grace of God, so my mom found this apartment. So we got this apartment, and then, I'm just gonna, long story short and skip. So then I ended up getting this job. The place that I was working at was another house of the devil, and another house that was getting painted and patched up, renovated. In the basement, they actually had to move out before I even started working at this place. Nobody was there for a while because it was, I guess, I don't know what happened to it, but it had to get renovated. It was getting renovated, so it just had a renovation done on it. And so when I had moved in, it was just finishing up the renovation. And that's another thing I want to say about the old house. So the house that I was living in with the mold and stuff, everything kept breaking. Like the kitchen, the cabinets. Oh, I forgot a couple of signs. The cabinets kept breaking. Like like where the knobs is at, like the whole piece was breaking off the cabinets. Like the cabinets was breaking off. Like, what's going on here? And another thing was, y'all know what they say about God. And wherever God is greener. And it was dead. Like the trees were very much dead. The grass dead. like, it was like we didn't have good grass. Like, that the grass, the land where that house was on, it was bad. The grass was horrible. The trees looked dusty. Like, the trees had like bald spots of dead grass. It was like the grass was not alive. The grass was not alive. Let's put it like that. Like, and in the backyard, there was no grass. It was like barely any grass. Like, if you find any grass, you're reaching. But it was like little spots of grass growing. But it was like sand. It was like straight sand and dirt. And there was a little bit of grass, but it was like pretty much straight sand and dirt. And then the tree in the front of the house was horrible. Like, it barely looked alive. It looked like it was fighting, trying to be alive, but it was not alive. And then, like I said, the grass was just horrible. The grass was just horrible. Like, it was dead. It was not very fruitful, not very green. Very much dead. Very much giving desert. Very much. The grass was like, you know, like the grass is like brown. And it's like dead. It's not green. It's not like green. It was like a sandy-ish color. Like, the grass was not grassing. Like, at all. So that was another sign. But yeah, we ended up moving. We moved to another place. We found the place the next year. And we moved into here. Then I ended up getting a job that summer. What was that? 2023 had to be. 2023. Yeah, 2023 or 2024. Okay, I'm good. 2023. Yep, because we're just moving in 2025. So yeah, 2023 this happened. So 2023 I got the job at the end of the summer. This was another house of the devil. I went through a whole lot. Co-workers, like, it was like pure evil. Co-workers to the supervisor, to the supervisors. Like, it was just evilness. Like, it was just like demons, like, just trying to attack my pure heart. Like, they did not like how I came off when I first had started. And it's just like they were attacking me, emotionally manipulating me. I was young, working with a whole bunch of older people that had already seen things, you know what I'm saying, and been through things. So they know how to do things, especially with somebody young-minded that's never been in this field of work. So they played this game. So they just played it. They played it. You let the devils play, they gonna play. You let the demons play. You let the demons circle, they gonna circle. And they gonna keep circling. And so I got up out of there. By the grace of God, I was done. It was too much. It was too much evilness. Too much. I kept trying to make changes to make it better and see it through, but it just wasn't being sought through. Like, everything that I did, it ended up going bad. It ended up turning into turmoil. Because that house just really was good. It was just really meant for me to just leave that house. And I already kept having the feeling that I needed to leave the place. But because of what? The money and what? Doubt and fear of moving to another place of work. I was scared to do because I was already getting used to this. And I was really doing so good money-wise. But spiritually, energy-wise, I was dealing with a lot. I was dealing with horrible co-workers. Like, just like they had their goods, but ooh, they had it bad. It was just they were very troubling, drama-ish, gossip. It was just horrible. The house was just horrible. It was like gossip drama every day with them. Like, it's always something. Like, no matter how good you could do, it was always something. Like, they always pinpointing something. That's what the devil do. He always picking out something that's bad, no matter how good you do. He only sees you for the bad. He wants to keep continuing and bringing up the past. That's what the devil bring up the past so you can feel bad. No matter how much you do, no matter how better you have gotten, he's gonna keep going to back the past, keep bringing up the past. Oh, you did this, and even in the present moment, he just searching and waiting for you to do something bad so he could say something and start to complaining and stuff. So it was just a lot of complaints, a lot of gossip, a lot of drama. Everybody in the house don't even really like each other. Like, everybody got a problem with everybody got something to say about everybody. Like, it's just drama every time you turn your neck. Somebody talking about somebody every time you turn your neck. It was just very depressing. It was that kind of house that you just want to find your own thing and just stick to it and just be by yourself, because it's just always something. And even if you would by yourself and just stick to yourself and just find something to just, do on your own and just be with everybody else, they would still find something. Like, it was still something. So I ended up switching places. I finally just got that courage, and not even necessarily got that courage, but I had, and I'll say this with God doing that, I had, no, actually, I know I've been knew about this thing, but when I had started the job and did the interview, my mom had actually told me to do this one specific thing and to pick this position, but I was manipulated by my supervisor into doing a different position, because I was supposed to do per diem, and she had manipulated me into doing full-time. So I ended up doing full-time. Money is the root of all evil. And mind you, I'm this person who's, this was my first real job. So mind you. And so when I was in that room, it was easy for her to just sit there and manipulate me into doing a position. I'm already saying, like, I want to do this position, but I was open-minded. Because I was like, okay, my mom's telling me I should do per diem, which I'm going to go for. That's what I'm going to go in this room, in this interview, and say I want to do per diem. But I also had the mindset of, like, I don't have a problem with doing full-time or part-time either. So I'd be up for it. I'm thinking about the money. So my mom is advising me to do per diem, but I'm not knowing why. You know what I'm saying? Like, not, so when you don't have a reason to back up why you're doing something, it's kind of very easy for somebody to manipulate you into doing something else. And so that's exactly what happened in that room. And so I ended up doing full-time. And it was horrible. It was like I was put into the devil's pit hole, like, for real. And it was just horrible. Like, it was just a lot of evil in there going on. A lot of evil. And so I ended up doing what I was supposed to do in the first place. I ended up switching to per diem. And so I'm going from different houses to houses. And I ended up finding this house that I really like. And they actually, by the grace of God, they ended up switching me to this house. I didn't even ask for it. And y'all know what they say about God. When you ain't even asked for something, and just things just happen, by the grace of God, that's God. Out of nowhere, they just switched me. They're like, "Oh, we're transferring you to this house." I wasn't even asked to be transferred to this house. They just transferred me to the house. God said, "We're gonna cut things, because we know you, because I had switched to per diem, but I was still placed in that house. So I was per diem at that house. So I could work at other houses, but the policy is when you go per diem and you're at a specific house, you're per diem for that house, but you can work at other houses though. So if they need you, but your main priority is that house to be per diem at. So whenever they need you, you need to be there. So even if you picked up at another house, say they need you on that day, and you was already supposed to be working in another house as per diem, you have to work at that house. And then, the supervisor at the other house is just going to have to find somebody else, because this is your main priority. This is your main house. This is where I'm placed at. And so basically what they had said at the old house that I was working at is that they didn't need no more people. They didn't need a per diem because they already had multiple people working at that. Like, I guess they had hired more people. They had hired multiple people. When I was leaving from out of there and I had switched per diem, they was hiring, like, there was other people being hired or whatever. So they had pretty much their positions filled up, so they didn't need a per diem person or whatever. And they already had one per diem. And that per diem person was working. She's been working there for a really long time, so they didn't need another per diem person. So they ended up switching me, the higher ups, because they it happened. It's crazy because this house happened to be the higher ups of my other house. The house that I was working at had to happen to be the higher ups of this house too. So they are the higher ups of this house too. They y'all get what I'm saying. So because everybody has different houses that I don't know what to call it. I guess that because I don't want to say own because they don't own the houses, but these are these are the houses that they have, that they work for, that they're the higher ups, that they're the higher ups have different houses that are in their, I'm gonna put it like this, in their collective. So there's like supervisors, there's higher up supervisors that have multiple houses, and then there's people higher than them. You know what I'm saying, that work, that take care of certain houses. What do they call them? I don't know what they call them. I'm just at the moment, at the time, I was just a worker, so I don't really focus on I don't really deal with them. They deal with the supervisors mainly, and the supervisors deal with us. You know what I'm saying? So don't really, So the higher ups had ended up switching me to this house because they look over this house too. This house is in their collective too. This is one of the houses that they are a part of. So I ended up being in the house. I ended up working frequently at a house that and ended up picking up shifts. I had picked up a shift one time, and then the supervisor continued to hit me about different shifts, and I ended up working there like really frequently for a while because somebody had been out. And so I was working there a lot. And my first day there, I actually really liked it. And so I ended up working there for a specific person because they was out. And so I kept being asked, could I cover or whatever. So I was just covering shifts over there. So I was working there frequently. And I guess the higher ups had picked up on that, and they was seeing that I was working there or whatever. And I guess they had discussed, amongst the higher ups and other supervisors, whatever, at the old house. And, between the new house or whatever, they did these little separate probably conferences, whatever. And they ended up, I guess, deciding to just move me over here. Because, they were saying that they pretty much their positions were filled up at the other house, so they didn't need another position, whatever. But I think deep outside, the higher ups knew too, because it was a whole situation. There was a lot going on, and so they just knew, like, let's just switch her, because she's been working at the house. She barely works at let's just switch her. She, we do need her over here more than we need her over there. So they just made the decision to move me over there. So they just popped out, and they just ended up telling me, like, oh, you're now transferred over here, so now you're based at this house now, whatever. I was like, oh, okay. And mind you, this house is closer to me, so it was a blessing, true blessing. That's all credit to God. All credit to God. And then everything from there has just everything still wasn't peaches and cream. You know what I'm saying? So I was still, working houses to houses, but I was mainly working there for a while. Then I got to a point in my life where I ended up kind of dreading that house because I was just in a space in my life where it just like work. This kind of the field was just not. It wasn't giving. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just like this is not where like I want to be in life. Like I see more for myself, and so that summer I was working on a project. I was working on my brand that I've always been wanting to do, but I finally had the funds to do it. And so I created a shirt, and I ended up ordering a bulk order of it, and I did the whole thing, and Instagram page or whatever. Like I was just like really just knew that I was like over a certain part of a certain area of my life, and I was just really trying to like whatever. I was just trying to do whatever I could do to elevate and to be abundant financially, because this just wasn't the life. So, and I had realized that a long time ago. So, and this is always something that I wanted to do. So it's big, and I'm a very creative person. So it's bigger than financial, but it definitely was it definitely had to do with financially being abundant, because I don't want to be living the poverty lifestyle anymore. I've lived the poverty lifestyle since the day I came on this earth. You know what I'm saying? But as a child, I didn't see it from a poverty view. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't see things for the life that we have been programmed to see them now. But because we actually don't realize how good we have it. Because as long as you got somewhere to lay your head and take it. But either way, we didn't have it the way we could have had it. You know what I'm saying? And I've been living the poverty lifestyle, you know, single mom, my mom, you know, my dad, you know what I'm saying? Like, look around, I wasn't in no, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't grow up in no, you know what I'm saying? You know, I grew up in the survival lifestyle. I grew up in the struggle lifestyle. I grew up in the making means work. That's the life I grew up in. That's the life I was born into. You know what I'm saying? And so I was just really trying every way to just figure out how I could get out of there. And I was doing everything in my heart to figure out how to. I was just trying to do I was just doing multiple things to just get out of it, but just nothing was happening. Nothing was working. God, you want me to keep going? Okay. So I ended up, I had a blast this summer, so I just ended up choosing myself. I had just got out of a really bad situation as well. So I was just going through a lot of bad situations. There was a lot of different situations going on. I'm really trying to like cut the story short, but it's like a lot of details to put in it. But I ended up, I was doing like a lot of partying and stuff. We were doing some whatever, and I was still going to work, but I was barely going to work. Like I was just making means work. Like I was so like like work was stress. Like it was stressful. So I was just making as much as I could, just enough to pay my bills and get gas and some bit of food, and I was just like on my way. I was just making means work. Like I wasn't working too much. I wasn't trying to stress myself. I said, I'm not stressing myself. I've worked my butt off from the minute that I stepped into that job. I was working, money. I was getting money, like stacking, saving. I was getting money. It was like, that was my second home. Like I was always at work. That was my second home. I was doing double shifts. That was like my second home. And so that's something I was just stressed, and I was just like, nah, I'm ready to choose myself, have fun. I'm not trying to be living in the spirit. Did that enough. Like, I'm good. So I was doing a lot of partying, going outside, just liberating myself. Liberating. The chains felt like they was breaking before the summer even came. And I just started liberating myself. Like, whatever I felt that was liberating to me, that would be breaking the chains, I just started doing. And then God had ended up putting people in my life, and I started seeing people that I've already been around my whole life that were actually angels. And I just started seeing different things, and I just started having, like, I had multiple spiritual awakenings, but I think this is the most major one. And it has to be, because I've made it home. And God, he put some people in my life. And they triggered things in me. And they helped me on my way. They're children of God. And everything just started getting better. To be specific, because I'm trying to kind of end this, God had put people in my life, his children. They had triggered things in me. I had triggered things in them. It was a lot of reflection, mirror to mirror. I began to see things for what they actually are, in the image of God. Life just totally began to transition, and I started having transformations, and I started to face my shadow. God had me facing my shadow. The shadow is your demons, your darkness. And the darkness has perished. On to ashes in the presence of God. I no longer have no more demons and no devils circling around me. Of course, the devil's always going to be knocking at the door, but he's never going to get back in. And like I said earlier, was it hard? Yes. No. It was complicated. Was it easy? No. But there, I'll tell you this now. There ain't no devil stopping me from nothing. No doubt, no fear. No darkness consuming me anymore. The darkness has perished. God has restored my heart. My heart is strictly his way. I surrendered. I repented. I am a changed person. I am back to my purity. The pure heart that I had when I came on this earth. And God has been guiding me ever since. I surrendered my life to him. I put my life in his hands. I know him more now than ever. He has changed my life completely. He has answered all my prayers. I am living in many of my prayers. Very much protected. And I just thank God for that. I thank him every day. I've gotten into the Bible crazy. Like, I never would have had seen myself. I would never have thought, like, this would be me right now. Like, reading the Bible. And I always been into the Bible. Like, when I used to be at church, like, I always used to, like, be curious. And I always wanted to have the knowledge of the Bible. And, like, I used to pick up the Bible sometimes. And I used to really, when they used to say the scriptures and stuff, and to go to this page, like, I used to be the child in the church who wanted to get the Bible, and not even sometimes I would actually get the Bible. And the churches that I did went to, and they had the Bible sitting in the thing in the back of the chairs, I would actually get the Bible, and I would ask my family, like, oh, how we get to this place? And they would actually, help me get to bed. I would actually, girl, I know what I was doing. I'll be trying to look at the book, and I'll be like, where? But now that I'm in the Bible, God has guided me, because nobody told me how to read the Bible. God did. Like, I just bought the Bible, and I actually got this one book. I had got this book this summer. Yeah, it was this summer that I had got this book. This book, Steve Harvey, I had seen in a video that like multiple books that Steve Harvey no, I think it was the video of him saying it specifically, and it was a video of him saying like the books that he recommends. Like, if you're gonna read any books in life, these are the books you should read. And so this was one of the books, The Power of Positive Thinking, and this pretty much is what got me on the road. This is thanks to this book. This book is pretty much what got me on the road. Like, it got me on the road. This is a very great book. Tap into it. This is a very great book, and he has in this book he puts in multiple scriptures. The author, Norman Vincent Peale, he has multiple scriptures in every chapter. This is a man of God, and in every chapter, with the different things that he's learned in life, he puts scriptures of the God, the words of God in every chapter. And it's a lot of like prayers in here and stuff, just like the word of God in here. And this I got pretty far in this book, and it you don't even have to read the whole book to. I'd advise to read the whole book. I think it would be great to read the whole book, but I got pretty far in this book, and each chapter helped me majorly in life. Like, this book really got me on the road, and it is a book built off the word of God. So of course it did. This book got me on the road. I'm very thankful for that video and for that book. So I had bought that book over from Amazon, and then just recently I had got the Bible. When did I get this Bible? I got the Bible like 2 months ago. I actually got the book last month. Like, I got the Bible last month. And I've read so many different scriptures. God has guided me to so many different scriptures, and everything, and it all just makes sense. And like I said, my life has changed drastically. And I thank God for him, because he's the only one to get to get. God has cleared my lenses. God has helped assist me with clearing my lenses. God has held my hand through fire. God has helped assist me with perishing my demons and devils. Everything. Like, my brain, my heart. I'm doing so well again. I feel so alive. Pure. I've been healing. I'm healed. I've done healed so many things. I done healed my inner child completely, full circle. Like, she can live again. She can live free again. Like, I'm a free spirit again. I'm liberated. Chains are gone. Break every chain. Break every chain. To break every chain. Break every chain. Break every chain. There's an army rising up. Yeah. Every chain, all the chains, they broken. I done flew away. I prayed for so long for my wings to be able to fly again. They flying. I'm flying. And I'm grounded. God has done great work on me. He held my hand through the fire, the storm. The storm is over. He declared it. I done did the work. I feel like I feel holy. I feel whole again. I feel like a child again. I feel like myself again. Because it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a child. We're probably just referencing it to a child because we were these things when we were a child, when we first came on this earth, when we were a baby. But Is it really us being a child? Or is it just us being the child of God, a child of God, a love from God? We're just love from God. But before, we were disconnected from the love we are. We were kids when we were all of these things, which is God's love, a gift of love, God's love. So it doesn't necessarily have to do with being children or childlike. It's just what we are when we are child. But we're this all the time. We just was disconnected from it. So it doesn't necessarily, we don't necessarily have to attach to being a child. It's just being God's love. If you know what I mean. But I don't want to get too further than this. Like, if you get it, you get it, you don't get it. But I am back to me. I am refreshed, renewed. God has cleansed my spirit and renewed me. Renewed my heart. Renewed my soul. He has given me a fresh new start, a new beginning. And just feels great. It just feels great. God, tap into it. Bless y'all. That is my story. And it was very long. But God called me to tell my story. And he'll probably have me tell it even more. Tell me, you know what I'm saying? It was really long. And one thing about God knows that the devil has programmed me into thinking that everything got to be perfect. But God said, you're already perfect. If this video gonna be long, it's gonna be long. And whoever it's meant for is gonna watch. And they gonna get what they need. And whoever need this video, they gonna watch the whole 2 hours and 6 to 7 minutes of it. So, hey, I'ma put it out. Because you know what? I'm a child of God. Princess of God. And I don't have no devils and demons around me. No doubt and fear. You shall. Fear not. Fear not. For I am with you. God wants me to put out this video. And I'm going to do it. God wants me to put out my story. And I'm just going to do it. This is my story, y'all. And there's so much more to it. I have testimonies and miracles that God has done for me growing up. Since the day that I came on this earth. But we'll get into that later on. But that is my story, y'all. That is one of my testimonies. And there's so much more detail to it. But I just really wanted to, pretty much, I definitely put into detail. But I pretty much wanted to sum up the end of it. But just to really just say what he did for me. And just to really explain the dark of it. You know what I'm saying? But, because I'm already living the life. So as you can see, beautiful of me. I mean, it's pretty much, once I already told you the spirit in the darkness, look at me now. You know what I'm saying? This is pretty much the testimony. So I don't really have to pretty much get too much into detail. But I will, in the future, get into detail on specifically how things took place. You know what I'm saying? It'll come. That day will come. But that is my testimony. That's my story. And I just really advise, if you are not just yet, get into the Bible. I really never saw myself, you know what I'm saying? But it's something that I've always wanted. But it's just even if it's what I wanted and it's a desires that I had, I still couldn't have imagined this where I would be in 3 months, y'all. I had these major transformations in 3 months. Just this summer, I was really going through it, like financially, spiritually, mentally, and God has just pulled me through. God has truly pulled me through the depths of the water, deep, dark depths of the water. He has really pulled me through, and I thank God for him. I think for him, because he is God. So I'm just really tapping, get tapped in, cause where he at is where I want to be at, and where he at, trust me, once you get on the path to where he at, trust me, you gonna want to be where he at, and you gonna want to stay there, and whatever you got to do to continue to, if you're on the path to getting back home, you gonna want to keep getting back home. You gonna want anything and everything, whatever you need to get to him, to get back to him. Once you get to taste the lick of it, of what life feel like to live with what we was made for, and what he made us to be, and the life that he wanted us to live and that he made us to live, tap in. Because God is great. God is good. He's amazing. I pray for us all prosperity, life, love, abundance, and all those things. But most importantly, love. God's love. I pray that if you have not yet felt the love of God, if you have not yet been able to clear your lenses and clean out your ears so that you can really, really hear him, start now. Don't wait till then. No, start now. Start now. Tap in. Because I'm telling you, you're not going to regret it. And will it be easy? With God's love, anything is easy. But it's going to be a journey. It's going to be a roller coaster. It's going to get dark. It's already dark. You know what I'm saying? So mind you, if you already made through all this darkness, why can't you make it through, perishing it? You know what I'm saying? Why can't you make it through the storm? You've already been going through the storm. So you made it through these storms. Your past is your storms. You've made it through all these storms. You can make it through this one. You can make it through this one. And this going to be the best one yet. Because at the end of this one, at the end of this tunnel, it ain't going to be nothing but brighter days. Sunny and warm weather. Warm conditions, love, life, abundance, and all good things. All things of God. Blessings to you guys. I hope y'all have a good year. An amazing year, actually. Because with God, it's amazing. It's more than good. It's amazing. Have a good day. A good week. An amazing day. An amazing week. An amazing month. An amazing year. And blessings to all of y'all. Stay up and continue to look upright and be upright. And listen to yourself. Stay true to yourself. Fight to be yourself again. Fight. But more importantly, surrender your life to God so that you don't have to fight anymore. Because you've already been fighting. And that's a lesson that I've been learning. You've fought enough. God doesn't want you to have to fight. He doesn't want to see you cry. He doesn't want to see you in pain. Surrender your life to him so he can help you out. He's going to do more than help you. He's going to be there for you in ways you've never seen no one be there for you. He's going to see you in his image. He's going to see you in ways that you know yourself, but everybody else just couldn't see it or forgot about it. He sees the best in you. So be where he's at. Once again, blessing. And I'm gonna just end it right here. See you later, guys.